Hi, welcome to Relatively Sane. This is Jessica Kirson. How are you today? I'm in a crazy mood. I just feel silly. I think because I'm losing my mind because of everything going on in the world. I've just been feeling like nutty. So sometimes I'll sing and then I start laughing because it's so crazy. Because in my head it'll be like, the sun will come out tomorrow, bet your bottom. And I'm like, why am I singing this in such a happy mode when I am so depressed and miserable right now? I guess, do you ever sing sad songs in your head? That's so funny. I don't sing like, I don't know. I guess sometimes I walk around like memories but no, it's more upbeat. Can you guys send me emails and messages and let me know when you hear this? I'm laughing right now. Do you ever list, like in your head, is it ever a very sad song or is it normally something happy and upbeat or encouraging? I was so depressed at one point that I was only listening to like horrible, depressing soundtracks from movies like Schindler's List and all those movies. And George Winston, who's a piano player. I'm sure a lot of you know who that is. But I would play his, like going through breakups, I'd play his songs. Oh, it's just piano music, and some of it's uplifting and some of it's incredibly depressing. And I would listen to the depressing songs and just wallow in my misery, because that's what I do. It takes me a very long time to get out of it and stop complaining about the same thing. I mean, for years, I'll complain about the same thing and stay a victim. I think I'm going to end there because it's really encouraging for people. I love you guys. Thank you for listening to Relatively Sane. Follow me on everything and take care of yourselves and be silly. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Relatively Sane. I am here today with one of my idols. I know he's going to be shocked that I'm saying that, but he's brilliant. Please welcome Eddie Pepitone.
Well, thank you, Jessica. You're one of the people, and I don't say this about many comics, who really, really make me laugh.
Really?
Like, it's a yes, it's a deep laugh because I identify with your insanity. You know, I identify with that over the top manic energy.
That's why I laugh so hard at you, Eddie.
Yeah, me
you
too.
are
Why I laugh at
so
you.
funny. It's scary. Like it's
It's so funny because I think the same thing about you.
I have been laughing at you since you were in the city. I mean, I'm talking like you were around the Stillers all the time. I mean, this is like way back. And
oh, wow.
You're fearless to me. Do you feel like you're fearless when it comes to comedy?
Do I feel like I'm fearless? No, because I'm very, very aware of all my little insecurities.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, little, big insecurities, like I still go to the Comedy Store, and when I'm doing the main stage over there, I am like, I'm not good enough.
Me
Richard
too.
Pryor used to be on this stage, and then I go out there, and if my inner demons are being good to me that day, they will calm down pretty once I start like really like I guess I've always been a yeller,
I know. I love it. It's my favorite kind of comedy. It's like,
I've been a big yeller, except in bed I'm just very quiet.
Me too.
Very quiet.
I'm sleeping normally. I'm not even awake.
What are you doing to me? Hey, honey, no, not now.
Wait, why are you in that hole?
I'm having a dream about getting a new agent. Don't touch me.
When I'm having sex, it's like, you got the part. I want the person to just say, you got the part, motherfucker.
Screaming, I got the part. That is so
I
fucking
love the way
funny.
you talk about the business. I mean, that's why everyone laughs so hard at you also, is because you're a comics comic. I mean, this is such a
Oh, yeah.
ridiculous business, which I think is going to
It
change
really is.
now. Do you think that? I
It's
think it might
you
change.
mean yeah, well, I think things are definitely going to change. I'm not sure how.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, once we get a vaccine, right?
Yeah.
Which may not be we may not be safe to perform at least until next year,
That's what
maybe
people
mid
keep saying. Oh
maybe
my
mid
God.
next year. And that's a long
What are we going
time.
to
I'm gonna need
do?
to make some money.
Eddie, what are we going to do?
I'm okay for now. You
I
know how when
know.
you're okay, you know how when you're okay for a little bit and you're like, oh, I'm fine forever. Like you have a little,
Of
you're like, oh,
course.
you know what? It's everything is fine. And then I go the other way.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to wind up homeless very quickly. Right?
Of course. That's the crazy anxiety. This is not good for people who worry about the future to begin with. I mean,
I know.
without a pandemic, I'm freaking out. Then you
You
add on
know,
a
isn't that
pandemic. I mean, this is a
isn't that
joke.
interesting? And then like massive social unrest on
Massive.
top of the pandemic,
Burning
and people
building.
like us, yeah, yeah, it's just like you're like, I wanted to join the protests, but I don't want to get COVID.
I
I'm
also,
older,
yeah,
and
that's how I feel too. I can't because I have kid. Like I just, I don't think I don't think we're supposed to be there. Like getting into
mm,
huge arguments.
well,
We have enough stuff. I mean, it's too. I have a.
no, but what I just want to go back to something you just said, which
Excuse me.
has been amazing to me. Like I used to freak out before all of this,
Yeah.
right before the pandemic, and it's made me realize what the fuck were you freaking out about then? And the truth is, I think that I am making I'll always make stuff up
Yeah.
to freak out about. Well, real on like it's like this whole period has taught me that okay, try to freak out about what's real
Yes.
instead of the bullshit.
What's something that you would freak out? I mean, is it like something with the career stuff, like a little? Because I
Oh
freak out
yeah,
over little
that's
things
all the
too.
time.
Yeah.
The career stuff, and then I would also this is wild. I mean, I before the pandemic, I'm kind of a hypochondriac. Like I would get a little, like as soon as I feel something. This is before the
No, I get
pandemic.
it.
As soon as I feel something, I'm like, oh, I go into this thing like, oh, I'm not swallowing properly. I can't afford to be sick now. I've got that road trip in 3. Oh no!
In
Oh
three
please,
weeks.
God! Like I, I used to have major panic
Oh, that's
attacks all the
horrible.
time. Zoloft has helped me with that. But I used to have panic attacks the day I would travel
Oh,
or
that's
the night I would
horrible.
travel.
I
The
feel for
night the
you.
night before I would travel, I'd be like,
Oh,
"Oh my God, what am I doing? Indiana's not friendly. Why am I going to Indiana?"
that started happening for me right before this killer disease. I was it was taking everything I have to like get to fucking Chicago. Like I was freaking out. I was like, I'm traveling every week in the airports.
Well, that's a
This is
lot. That
before
wears you
everything.
down.
And I was taking
Yeah.
me a lot. It was a lot to even get to my gigs. And then now put this on top of it. It's
Let
ha-
me ask you a question. When would you perform? Because I don't think I'm going to perform until they have a vaccine, you know?
I have to be very careful. I've had this conversation on the podcast a couple times because I have a daughter with heart disease. So I have to be
Oh, shit.
yeah. So I have to be
Hmm.
very careful because they,
Hmm.
kids started getting it a lot in New York, like around her age. She's four and a
Mm.
half. Yeah. But I'd be right now. I would be scared, but I would be okay performing in someone's
Hmm.
backyard with no contact.
so crazy.
You're looking for backyard gigs?
I am looking for a yard or a
A yard?
sidewalk,
Uh,
something outside. I would stand on a fucking wood plank. I don't care. In some rich person's backyard, and I would do
Right.
that kind of show and
Right.
just
A
wouldn't have
rich
contact.
person's
Yes, I'm
backyard.
talking these mansions on Long Island and New Jersey,
Oh, do they do shows?
I've done tons of them, but I'm thinking maybe
Oh,
I
you
should
have?
start doing, like, over the years. I've done private
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
It's the Jewish thing. Like,
Oh,
we
that's
want you
great,
in our
though. I mean,
huge backyard, which is like a field, literally. And we want
I
you to
only performed in fields now. I
in the
perform
football field.
in fields. No, whatever field means to you. Wheat
Yeah.
field, soy. I can't do
Only
cornfields. I'm
fields.
I'm allergic to corn.
Could you imagine you're performing in the middle of a field, like with plants all around?
Yeah, like
Hey.
that the corn is up to you here, and
No pun intended.
but people are dying for comedy, so they're scattered around the cornfield, and you have like a little megaphone, and you're like, "What is the deal with corn?
Yeah, you're like,
What is
when
the
you're
deal with corn?"
when you're standing in a soybean field and a fly
Hey,
goes in your ear.
Hey, folks, is it me, or has this pandemic made stand-up extremely difficult?
No one sees you. There's fields up front.
No one sees you. They see the tip of the megaphone. Well, Chappelle just did that show in an outdoor
I know,
place.
but it made me tense. I'm saying the whole thing with the people with the masks and then the signing and sitting apart. It's just a lot. Would you do a show outside?
I guess I
Yeah.
would if, but I just don't see how they're going to be a lot of fun.
I thought you just said I don't see how they're going to be alive. Could you imagine?
Oh,
Well, they're not going to be fun.
I don't know.
Nothing
You
about
know-
it will be fun, but it will be money. And I just hope I don't have a nervous breakdown while I'm in the back of some Jewish person's house in the middle of Long Island.
Yeah, when I used to have panic attacks, I really went through a bad phase with them, and I would start having panic attacks. Like sometimes I didn't know what would bring them on, And when I was in New York, all of a sudden I started getting claustrophobia. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't get on a subway for a bit.
I don't go
I
on
was in bad
subways. You
shape.
and I are very much alike. I don't go on subways. It's too much for me.
Oh, you don't?
Not since 9/11.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
even have 9/11 caused me to have that stuff. I'm telling you, I lived in the city and it caused me to have like some OCD stuff, fear of being in small spaces with tons of people.
Wow,
a lot of
it really
different
affected you.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Where are you now?
I'm on Long Island. I live
Oh,
here.
you are on Long
Yep.
Island.
Yep, I live here. I know that New York is going to probably be the last place to open its clubs and have stuff going on. So, and you have a special coming out.
I do.
Yeah, tell me
For
about the
the
special.
masses. What's that?
Tell me, is this the one that Steve Feinartz directed?
Yes.
Oh, I
yes,
need to hear
yes.
about
Steve
it.
directed you too.
Yeah, I
right?
love him. Love him.
Right. He directed the documentary about me, The Bitter Buddha, and then he directed my first special, In Ruins, and he directed this special called For the Masses that I filmed in LA at a really cool theater called the Dynasty Typewriter. Do you know that
Amazing.
one?
Yes, and I saw clips from it. He showed me
Oh,
when
you
were
did? Great.
after you filmed it, and I was screaming, laughing. I'm just telling everybody. So I got
Yeah,
a little
thank
preview.
you.
I could not
Yeah.
breathe from what he showed me.
Thank you, Jessica. It's what is it? It's coming out June 23rd on Amazon Prime, right? So it's free if you have Prime. On Amazon it's coming out.
Mhm.
And it's coming out on iTunes, Google Play, and other platforms.
And you said it's on Sirius?
It's on Sirius
Great.
now, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the audio.
That's
and
great.
I think Pandora, Spotify, I don't know.
I know
all
all that
those
shit is
things.
the word. It's like I see how you're like, oh, I guess it's on Amazon. It's so the promoting. I'm too tired.
Right. I have to write this shit down.
I know.
I
These
have to.
young people are like, yeah, I'm on Amazon, Google Play. Yeah. Like they're so into it. I'm like, I don't even know what Google Play is. I don't
Yeah,
know
I
what
don't use
anything
Google
is.
Play, but I'm hoping. I think a lot of people do.
They
It's
do.
just another platform. Like Andy Kindler says, I'm hoping my next special. We're looking at UPS ground. Like there's so many platforms, it's ridiculous, right?
Who are your comedy idols? I'm so curious to ask you that because I just think you're so
Oh,
brilliant.
well, uh, uh, well, I mean, when I was a kid growing up, it was Jackie Gleason,
Amazing.
who was not a stand-up, but I grew up watching The Honeymooners, and then Jackie Gleason had a variety show. It was just called the Jackie Gleason Show. Live from Miami, Florida. I loved Gleason. I loved how big he
Yeah,
was.
me too.
I loved how he could be so powerful, and then he would get so vulnerable. Like
Yes.
I love that. And then stand-up wise, it was Carlin. It was Richard Pryor for me. Really made me want to be a stand-up. Seeing his concert movies and
Were you into
God,
acting before you did stand up or did you?
yeah.
Yeah.
I let's see. Yeah, did I act or do stand up? I did stand up when I was I think I was about 19, and I was just so scared to do it.
Yeah.
That I
Yeah.
went into acting and improv and sketch groups and shit like that before I could go back to stand up. Like because stand up is the hardest. You're
Yeah.
going out there alone.
It's by
You
far the
know.
hardest. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. It's such a paradox to be a stand-up for people like us because we have all this anxiety, all this self-doubt, yet we get in front of people trying to get their
I know. And
get
they're
their
fucked
love,
up and miserable.
get their love.
That's the other
What?
part. They're fucked up and miserable. Meaning, I used to go on stage and then I'd see someone like just looking so sad, and I really took it very personally. And then I realized everyone has problem. Like this is not just about me. They're dealing with shit in their lives.
Right. I've just come to that.
It took me. I'm not kidding. Until
me
recently,
too.
I feel the same way. It's really
Right.
hard.
I would look at someone in the audience. Looking so fucking sad, and I still see that, and I go, "Are you okay?" Like I'll go right to them.
Me too.
I'll be like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah, I'm like, "Are you?" Say the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, "You look miserable. Just go bowling. You don't have to be here. You can go bowling.
Yeah.
You don't have to be here. You look like you're in prison."
I remember seeing a comic. I don't even remember who it was, but I think it was at the old, either comic strip. Is comic strip still in New York happening?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know what's going to happen from this. Everywhere that when you were here, I think everywhere but like the Improv, which turned into Broadway Comedy Club. I mean, yeah, they're all still here. Some have changed names, but
still happening?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
I don't perform there a lot. Now I don't perform anywhere, but I wasn't performing there a lot. But it's still there. Most of the clubs, I think a lot are going to close if this goes on a year longer. I don't mean now, but I mean if this keeps going on, how are they going to stay open?
What they're talking about for the Comedy Store is opening. What they're talking about is opening in July, and I think they are going to do like 30% capacity.
They're allowed to do that in July.
I don't know.
I know.
I think, baby. I think.
I don't think.
I don't know. That's what I'm hearing.
Yeah, maybe
That's what I'm hearing.
Thank you so much to all of my Patreon members for supporting the podcast.
All right, hold up. Could you take a little off the P's? You're hitting them too hard. Not action.
Thank you so much to all of my Patreon members for supporting the podcast.
Hold on. Now you're whispering Patreon. Is there a reason you're whispering?
Well, you said to take the
somewhere in the middle.
Okay.
You ready? Action.
Thank you so much to all of my Patreon member.
Now you got to pause.
For those of you who don't know, Patreon members, is that okay?
It was perfect. Why'd you stop?
Oh, okay. Patreon members.
Cut. Let's go back to the beginning.
Thank you
And action.
Thank you so much to all my Patreon members for supporting the podcast. For those of you who don't know, Patreon members get early access to the podcast, ad-free episodes, and access to monthly live streams where we talk more about...
All right, let's take it back to the beginning. That was perfect. Do it exactly like that.
I just did it well, though,
Except
but why are you
finish it this
starting
time.
over? Thank you so much to all of my patron...
Cut. Why are you screaming?
Because I'm just trying to get through this.
Action.
Thank you so much to all of my...
Action.
Thank you so much to all of my Patreon members. For those of you who don't know, Patreon members get early access to the podcast.
Perfect. Keep going.
There's so many P's.
Keep going. Keep going.
Ad-free episodes.
You
and
could cut this out, right?
For those of you who don't know, Patreon members get early access to the podcast, ad-free episodes, and access to monthly live streams where we talk more about being relatively sane.
Hold up. Did we agree on monthly live streams?
Yes, you told me I should do them because it'll get more members.
I don't know how to do a monthly live stream.
Don't you just talk in your phone?
We'll figure it out. Come on, let's get through this. We have to go. We should speed this up.
All right. Thank you so much to all my Patreon members for supporting this podcast. For those of you who don't know, Patreon members get early access to the podcast, ad-free episodes, and access to monthly live streams. We don't know what that is, but whatever, where we talk about being relatively sane. If you want to join our fantastic community that is so corny, go to patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. That's patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. That's
hold on.
Patreon.
I think you said patriot.com.
Go to patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. That's patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. Patreon.com/Jessica Kirson. Thanks again.
And cut. That's a wrap.
Ugh. I mean, that would be great.
Maybe.
What do you think?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Where do you think this self-doubt, this self-hatred, which I have experienced my entire life, came from? Do you think it's a combination of like addiction and upbringing? I have my own feeling about
for
it.
me, I would have to say, it's like upbringing.
Mhm.
I think it's, my family was fucking crazy. Let's put it that way. My mom was clinically, they called it back then manic depression. She was, and she was hospitalized throughout my life, so, dealing with that. And then my dad had all this strain on him, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he could be he's Sicilian. So, my mom's Jewish, my dad's Sicilian.
What a combination.
So my dad could be very, very like demanding and, scary. So I had that kind of dynamic. Like I was always trying to get his approval, and my
Very
mom
similar
wasn't
with
really
me.
there. My mom wasn't really there. So I think that really kind of, formed me into the neurotic nutbag I am.
How many siblings did you have?
One, my sister, who's great. She came out of it better than me. She's a lawyer.
Well, wait, is she older?
No, she's 3 years younger.
It's
3
interesting.
years younger.
I think the older sibling gets it worse in some ways.
Yeah,
in my family, it did.
firstborn?
Yeah, I think
Are
my
you
sister.
firstborn?
No, I had it. I had stuff, and I dealt with a lot of stuff, very similar to you, I think, in some ways. But I think my sister, just because she was the first child, and had all the pressure, it was a little harder in certain ways. Did you start therapy at a young age, or did it take you a long time to?
Yes, I was in therapy as a toddler.
Me
I
too.
started going when I was 3.
What?
And
Not that
I'm
young.
kidding.
Oh,
How funny is that? I don't know. I feel that I should be doing more with my blocks. I don't stack them well.
My
wouldn't it be
teddy
hilarious?
bear doesn't like me.
yeah. I was thrown in very young because my mom's a therapist.
Well, how old?
8.
Oh, that's right.
I started
your
at
mom's
8.
a therapist.
Yeah, I went to ESTA 10. I went to a group
Oh
EST.
my!
Yeah,
At
which
10,
yeah,
that's
I know,
ridiculous.
10.
I think
Yeah, a lot of
Is
you
it
that are
good or
listening
bad?
don't know that
Is
what that
it
is.
good or bad that your mom is a therapist?
It's
Was that good
both.
or bad?
It's both.
Both,
Yeah.
right?
Hmm.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a way where am kind and loving and empathetic
Mm,
and all of that, and I to this day always try to work on myself even if I'm having a hard time doing it. I'm aware of it. I try, like, I'm always looking to
mm,
try to get better and be better. But in the other way, overanalyze everything. I mean, I'm just like
right. Me too.
really therapized my brain.
Right, right. I've been finding, even though I don't practice it really, I like to read it and listen to it. Buddhist meditation and Buddhist philosophical stuff.
A lot of people
I
do that.
really like
Yeah.
a lot. It's all about like calming, like calming your mind, and it's actually kind of the opposite of talk therapy. It's like their whole thing is you want to just have your mind empty. You want to quiet those voices. You want to quiet them through breathing, through breathing and
I feel so calm right now just listening to you say that. I swear I was just
is
like
that right?
falling asleep. Yeah, you're like just
Well, I
calm
have
your
that effect.
mind. Make it
Yeah.
stop. Yeah, it's the way you were talking. So, and I know a lot of people have been telling me about the Buddhist. Do you meditate at all?
I go through periods where I do it, and then right now, like for instance, I'm in a period where I'm not doing it. I've just been since the coronavirus thing. I've been like watching the
I
news, and
know
then the
it's
social,
so
and then the
bad.
protest. Like I've been too wired, but that's when you should do it.
I
But I
know.
haven't been doing it. I haven't been doing it. It's hard to explain why not.
What do you think is going to happen? I like asking people that because I'm so unsure.
As far as what?
Like,
As far as
do you
what?
think Trump will win again? Do you think that
Yeah,
I think we'll
I don't
definitely get
think
to a
so.
better place. I don't either now. Yeah.
Um, you know what I think? I think that um, even if the virus has a spike, that the great majority of people are so fucking sick of him that I think, if you can't mail in your vote, there are going to be people just flocking to the polls. And the only thing is that I think anything can happen with him in power,
Yeah.
because I could see him declaring the election fake. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, did you see
but
that Joe Biden said recently that's his biggest
yes,
fear? And I said, it makes sense. It's like a comic
yeah,
who won't. Could you imagine?
right. He's
Like,
getting the light.
yeah.
He's getting the light.
Yeah, it's like, no, I'm not leaving. I'm just going on. And how long have you been doing stand up? Is it like 30? Because I've been doing it 21 years. So you must be
Is
doing,
that right?
yeah.
Yeah, you're what I call a newbie.
What?
No, I'm kidding.
35 years?
Uh,
Is that how long? How long?
let's see. I'm 61. And like I said, when I first started doing stand up, it freaked me out. And I had to I took lots of acting. I love theater stuff.
Yeah.
I
I
love
remember
theater
you
stuff.
doing theater stuff. I remember
Yeah,
you doing a lot of that stuff.
right. I did a lot of one man shows.
Yes.
I also started a sketch group. So I think I really got down. I think I've been doing stand up on and off for like 30 years,
Yeah.
and really just concentrating on stand up for the last 15, 20, because out here in LA too, I've been, I've gone back and forth. Sometimes I get into this, great thing where I'm doing a lot of acting,
Yeah. You're so
but,
good.
oh, thank you. But stand up has become totally what I'm about. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
I love it. I love it, even though it's also brutal. And the business aspect of it
Brutal.
is very, very difficult for someone like me to accept.
Because it doesn't make sense. It does not
Doesn't
make
make
sense.
sense. It's not a meritocracy. It's like just a lot of fucking like Netflix. I couldn't
Is
get
that?
this special on
I know I
Netflix.
couldn't get a special anywhere. And I mean,
You know
it
what I
had to
mean?
be.
It's like why,
I know
huh?
that was the one thing I was like, what the fuck is this? I mean, this is really ridiculous that I'm not getting some kind of special. It's crazy.
Right, right. Right. It's
Um,
all about their demographics and algorithms,
it's
and
not going to happen
you know,
anymore, though. It's done. Like we can make these
is that
things
right?
happen. I don't think it's going to work like that anymore. I don't think it's going to be up to one per. I think it's going to be comics helping other comics. I do. I think everything has shifted. I do. I think from the internet,
Ah,
podcasts, the power that
it's true.
people like Joe Rogan and Bill Burr and Andrew Schultz and all these people have now, and they're helping each other, and just everyone's going to start helping each other more. I really believe that.
Right.
I see it happening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Andrew Schultz. I don't know who
He's in New
Andrew.
York. He's a young guy, and he has a ton. And like Louis Gomez and Gas Digital, all these podcasts where they pack rooms,
Oh,
and it's like
oh,
it's
right.
something like if I had the power to hire people, I would help you because I think you're brilliant, and I think more of that's going to
Hmm.
happen now because
Right,
people are
right. That's
seeing
good.
it's very good because people are seeing they don't need these corporations to help.
Platforms.
They don't.
Right,
We don't need
right,
TV anymore. Really don't.
right. That's great. That's great. The only thing about that is that it's a lot of work
I know.
to do this stuff by you. I mean,
I
we all
know.
have people who help us, right? But still, it's like, okay. I mean, you were talking about addiction. It's like you get addicted to the fucking internet.
I know.
Like, oh, who's liking this? I got to put something up on Instagram. I got to put something up on Facebook. Oh, how do I work my Facebook fan page?
Oh,
It's
please,
like,
Eddie, I know. I get it. I get the whole thing. I have so many stand-up sets that I want to edit and I have no idea how to edit. But I said, "You know what, Jessica? Learn how to do it. Like
mhm.
don't
Oh,
complain."
right,
I mean, I'm going to try to
right,
learn it cuz I'm not
right.
doing anything anyway. So I'll sit here and try to learn how to edit a
That's good.
video.
Oh, have you been doing that? I still
I
haven't.
don't, and I
Uh,
don't know how, but I think if some of these idiots can do it, I mean, I'm not like I can figure out how to edit a video. It's not like I'm
I
trying to
know.
become a
We can
professional.
figure it all out.
I
We can
know.
figure it all out.
It's more about doubting
Um,
myself. It's that self-doubt. Like you can't do it. You're not good with that and putting that
yeah.
label on. But what would be your dream gig? I'm just curious. I love asking people I admire so much. What would be your dream
Um,
situation?
well, I guess it would be having my own like show to do anything I want
Mhm.
with, on a big platform like I don't know, HBO or Showtime, one of the big
Mhm.
networks, cable, I'm sure, where I could really kind of, do what I want comedically, and have people with money backing it. I mean, that would be a dream thing to have my own show. And I have a couple people. I was pitching a show with Bobcat Goldthwait, who's a great
Who's
guy.
brilliant, absolutely. I mean,
A
like
brilliant.
beyond
Yeah,
brilliant.
we
Yeah,
were pitching a show for me. I think it was now 2 years ago. I've lost track of time.
I
Have you
know.
lost track
I
of
don't even
time?
know where I am. Yeah, of course. Especially now, I am so lost. So you were pitching a show.
With Bobcat. For me. And it was all about all the shit that I went through as my mom, in electroshock therapy. Um,
Mm.
eh, you know, it was a deep show, also crazy absurd. It would like go into my fantasies. Every time I write a show for myself, I always have a mental institution very centrally in the show. And
Yeah,
something appeals to me about that as a comedic
because it's
device.
of
Yeah.
course it's everything. When I say sometimes when I'm sitting at the Comedy Cellar with all the comics, I'm like, this is a game room in a mental institution. Like one person's rocking, the other person's talking to themselves. There's people like it's crazy. I'm in my
Yeah.
head like, is this person like me? Does that person like me? Someone's overeating, someone's undereating. It's like there's so much going. Someone's rolling a joint and smoking, doing
Oh,
cocaine, and
forget it.
it's crazy.
Oh my God.
It's all
Oh
people
my
who
God.
have issues.
Yeah, that is tough. That is tough as a comic who has addiction problems, to be around it so much. And stand up is such an addiction, I realize too. It's an
Hmm.
addiction to adrenaline, it's an addiction to it's an addiction to getting validated.
Yeah, it is. You're right. It
It's
is.
such it's an addictive type of lifestyle, and you're out at all hours, and you're it's a very intense thing, it's a very intimate thing,
Hmm.
with the audience. It's very like we go out there and you know we really do put ourselves out there. As a matter of fact, I have a joke where I tell the audience, I go, if you're not in show business, you're nothing to me. You're a fucking coward. You're a fucking coward if you're not in show business. And I'm including first responders. Oh, I have to go to the disaster site. I'm out here in a disaster every night. You know what I mean? Like, I love
I love that
elevating it.
because people don't get like they don't know. They're like, oh, it's so amazing. You get to travel. I'm like, you've got to be fucking kidding
And
me.
it is
But the
kind of,
traveling,
but
but the
yeah,
planes and
traveling
the
stuff.
bag and it's crazy. It's
Ooh,
constant
yeah.
anxiety.
It is nice being in different cities, though. I
Yes.
like that a lot.
Yeah, I like
I
that
like
too.
that, just to be like, it's nice to be in this city. You
And
know what
you've
I mean?
performed
Like,
overseas. Haven't you performed in Europe a lot?
yeah.
Like you're one of those.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that. I never.
Yeah, yeah.
I have done comedy in a lot of different countries, but
Uh-huh.
not like
Oh,
you.
you have?
No, but you've like I know you've done. Haven't you done England a ton of times and different places?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I did, because I did that crazy, crazy Edinburgh Fringe Festival,
Yeah.
which is nuts. And
Nuts.
I did it twice. I did it in 2012 and I think 2016.
Oh wow.
And it's 28 shows, an hour long, no opener, 28 shows and 29 nights.
It's really this bit. That's
both
why.
shows both times I came back to the States with heavy duty bronchitis.
Really?
Like I got sick at the end,
Yeah.
both times, where I came home, and because it's a month-long thing in Scotland, and I came home just so sick,
Yeah. 'Cause it's
physically, so
exhausting.
worn out. But the first time I went to Edinburgh Fringe Festival was really good for me. And a lot of, I got overseas gigs.
Yeah.
The Soho Theatre.
I remember
The
that.
Soho Theatre in London, I did like 3 times, a 3-week run, a 2-week run, 2-week run. They put you up in Soho, which is so nice. You get an apartment in Soho
Wow.
for, 2-3 weeks, which was great to see London. I took my wife to England,
Oh, that's so
so that's
great.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm?
So yeah, I mean, I miss that. I miss the traveling. I mean, I miss being in other cities and being
Right.
around all the people. That's what I miss more than actually even doing the stand up. Except, what's interesting, Eddie? I feel like I'm a completely
Mhm.
different comic, even though I haven't done it. I literally could see myself
Wow.
going up and being more
Calm,
not yes.
introspective.
Yes. Do you feel like that too?
Mm.
That's weird you knew that
Yeah,
because that's how I feel. I feel more
me
serious.
too.
Wow.
Well, look at what's going
Yeah.
on. I think we're gonna work it out once we're back to being on stage. I don't think we'll know until we do, because I've been doing and I'm sure you've done a couple, but these Twitch or Zoom shows,
Yeah.
and they're so weird.
They're
And
so weird.
at first I used to stand up and make believe it was like a stand. Now
Yeah.
I just sit down
Me
like
too.
this, and I'm like, I sit down like this, and I just talk into the camera, and I go, "What? What do you want?"
What do you want from me?
Do you know that in my day we had soap on a rope, and that was we used a rope to hang ourselves. But now you kids don't have soap on the rope. They don't make soap
You
on a rope.
kids. I just honestly, I could watch you do a Zoom. If you do one with your face up close to the camera, if you don't tell me when it is, I'm gonna kill. I will laugh. All I've been doing when I do them
Oh.
is I make fun of the people in the boxes. I'm like, Dave, could you please wake up? I am really having issues right now. Like, it's so fucking crazy to see people watching you
Yeah.
like that.
It doesn't feel like stand up though, but
No.
it does feel like something.
It
I'm
feels
not
like a
sure.
discussion where I'm in control,
Yeah.
kind of, but it's so, it's really the most demeaning.
Yeah.
It's,
Yeah.
I said to my mother, thank God I'm able to be humble. Because some people I know would never do what I just did. Like talking to 5 people just staring at me in a box on a video. Like, there are so many comics who wouldn't do it. They won't.
Yeah. It depends on who asks me, you know.
Yeah, me too.
And right. I just did a Brit show. It was Manchester, and they paid pretty well for a 10-minute
Well,
set.
that's
you know?
great. That's great. People
And
keep
so
saying
that was great.
you can do it and we'll split up the tips. I'm like, I cannot go to a mental institution right now. There's a virus. That will throw me over. If I'm like, hey, did it like trying to get $10 in tips for telling jokes? I can't do it.
I know. I know. It's just crazy, you know, until we get back to what we're doing. But like you said, all this technology, you know, we could do really good stuff with podcasts and
Yeah.
you know, putting out short films, you know.
Mhm. I have an idea for you because you have so much content from the years. I mean, I can't even imagine how much content you have.
You know, but you've been doing it for 21 years. Are you like me? Like where there are times where I go on stage and I go, I have nothing. I have absolutely
Well, no, I
nothing.
have nothing on stage right now, but I'm saying to put up on the internet because your special's
Right.
coming. Like it's
Right.
you can take all that. What I did was this is crazy. I went on YouTube and I put my name in and I took all those clips. And I had paid, you know, I have this kid who's doing it who needs money and he edits out my gigs, like stuff that I've done. And I started
Wow.
putting it up on YouTube and on
Oh, that's great.
Instagram. So if you did TV 20 years ago and you can find the clip of it, someone
Oh,
can,
you get
for like no
okay.
money, they'll make it look great. And then you put it up and you be surprised how much generation that gets from putting that stuff
right.
up.
Right. You get a child to do it? Do you get like the Chinese children?
Yeah, I've
who
been
don't
having
have-
kids from China do it, which I feel kind of bad about because of all the Chinese restaurants closing. I feel bad for the Chinese right now. I'm dying for lo mein. I just wanted to say that.
You know, New York has the best Chinese restaurants.
Best.
LA, not so much. Not so much. Have you lived out here?
No, I never would move there unless I had a job. Like I needed,
Right.
I
Good
can't
for you.
because I
Good for you.
I worked here. Like I did so many one-nighters and different gigs. So I was like, if I move there, I'm going to be broke. I mean, I'll be broke. I have nothing going on.
Right.
So
Yeah. No, I totally
I would
get
have
it.
loved to move there, but I just couldn't do it. So, well, I'm so glad that you decided to do this and said you would. I don't always say this, and Eddie, you make me laugh so hard. You really do.
You make me laugh.
Tell people again where they can find your special and where they can find
It's,
you online.
Yeah, it's For the Masses, and it's going to be on Amazon. You could watch it free if you have Prime. It's on iTunes. It's going to be on Google Play and other platforms too. It's June 23rd is the release date, For the Masses.
And what's your Instagram? Because it's amazing. You do the live.
You know, everybody can go to eddiepepitone.com and you can find all that stuff. My Instagram is at Eddie Pep. My Twitter's at Eddie Pepitone, you know.
Are you still going live a lot on Instagram?
Yeah, I go Monday through Friday.
Awesome. So guys, check it out. He's great.
Yeah.
I did it with him. I love it. Just you're so brilliant. And
thank you, Jessica.
I adore
that's
you.
Really nice
oh God.
From you.
Listen, I need to laugh too. So when I watch you, I laugh. It's a gift.
Yeah. You too. You too.
You're a legend, Eddie. You are.
Oh,
You really
thank
are.
you.
I mean that. You really are.
aw.
So thank you again. I love you.
All right.
Follow
Thank
Eddie
you,
Pepitone.
Jessica. I'm going to take my dogs for a walk.
Okay, bye.
Bye.